Welcome back to the Yoki Way Podcast number 3. We're excited to have you guys back. On today's episode, we're going to cover a couple topics on where we're headed in the next couple of months. And I want to bring up a topic which I really want to talk about, and it's kind of just like what it takes to win.
Yeah.
The reason I want to bring up that topic, though, is because in the next 3 months, I think that my focus is going to be at an all-time high, and I think I need to. And I'm going to get in depth with that. But those two topics we're going to talk about for sure. I don't know how long those topics will take, but we might include a third or a fourth topic, and we'll see where it goes.
We're not doing too many topics because we really want to get into depth. There's a lot to talk about. So
Yeah. That being said, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to really talk about some updates here. The first thing is that I finally figured out who I'm going to get coached by. So Mike K. I still don't know how to say your last name, but it's a guy that goes to Lightning Fitness. I had the pleasure to train with him twice in the past 2 weeks, and I really, really liked his mentality. I really liked kind of his view on things, and I told him that I wanted to compete in the USPA, and I knew that he was a coach, and I was like, you know what? I think you should coach me. So I'm going to try him out. It's a new coach. I want to just get another perspective on a different coaching style. And me, myself, being a coach, getting different perspective is only going to make me a better coach. So I'm super, super excited to start training again starting tomorrow for a USPA competition. And the difference between a USPA and a USAPL, which what I competed in last month, is that in a USPA, I'm able to use a deadlift bar. Everything else is the same. It's still tested. It's still a squat, bench, deadlift. But this time I can use a deadlift bar, which I can actually use that to my advantage because I do deadlift more with a deadlift bar.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And, I'm super, super excited to just get back on program because without a program, I felt like that the structure aspect of my training was just not there. But I needed the rest. I needed to have that off season time, that break time to just really let my body heal up and catch up.
Yeah.
This next couple months is going to be
Interesting.
Is going to be good for me because I think it's going to be a period of growth for me. I think that life has different seasons, and I think that this upcoming season for me, I need to configure some things in my life to bring me new focus and just utilize my drive and my ambitious personality to bring me to that next level.
Yeah.
And I think that Danny has to do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been kind of hard on Danny for the past week and a half because that's kind of the wavelength that I'm going to right now. And I want him to also join me there as well.
I mean, I've been feeling it. I'm on the program that Ben's teaching me now, and
so I started coaching you. I started writing a program for you.
Man, I feel beat. It feels really good, but it feels horrible at the same time. Like my body feels shot, but it's like it's an addicting feeling,
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's many times I would have like the weekend or something, and I would really kind of feel tired. I'd practice whatever. I'd be like, I'm not gonna work out today, or I'll just work out tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, I'm gonna pass today too. But on a program, there's specific days you have to go. There's, say you go 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you have to hit those days, and it's kind of it feels kind of nice having, I don't know, like a reminder, like looking at your phone, be like, you have to do this today, or
Definitely. I think structure is so important. And I'm kind of going to get a little into depth now of what it takes to win because I need to apply all the things that I'm going to talk about now into my life in the next couple of months because for me to transcend on that next level, you can't expect to get better and you can't expect to be that better version of yourself by doing the exact same thing you've been doing up until now. And to get into the details of some of the things that I'm going to have to incorporate into my life to get me there. One of the things that I have to do differently is I have to work a little less for our dad because he has a construction company, and as much as I love helping him out and working in that business and providing help and success in that business, it just takes away from my coaching, it takes away from my training, and for me to transcend to that, like I said, next level, I need to work a little less there. So up until now, I've been doing 4 or 5 days a week there, and been spending the end of my weekend kind of focusing on my coaching, focusing on my social media more, but it's just not enough. And for my upcoming competition, like, I want to win. You know, I want to blow my numbers out of the water. I want to get stronger than ever. And I'm confident in that, but for me to be assured in that, I need to do some things differently. So with that, the first thing I'm going to be doing differently is working a little bit less.
It's going to be kind of hard, though.
It's going to be tough, but I have to do 3 days instead of 4 or 5. You know, there will be weeks where I'll do 4. There will be weeks where I do 5. But on average, I got to do 3 days a week.
The thing about construction, you know, it doesn't just take time away. It takes, like,
energy,
like mental energy and a lot of physical energy, because you're driving every day, working every day, coming back. All you got to do is just, like, you know.
And to kind of give you guys
to
give you guys an idea of what the job consists of is we're working mostly in Vermont. So I'll wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning every single day, and I drive about an hour and 45, sometimes 2 hours, depending if I have to pick an employee up. And we get to Vermont for 7 a.m., sometimes 7:30, and we'll work the 8-hour shift and then drive that hour 45 to 2 hours back. So my day is gone completely. I get home about 5:30, 6 p.m., and then I still have to hit my gym because I got to do my program. So by the time I get back home, it's 8:30 or 9 p.m., I got to get rest, because if I don't get rest, I feel like absolute dog the next day. And the whole cycle repeats again. And another thing I have to mention is, like, doing that for 4 days in a row fatigues you mentally so much and fatigues you physically so much by the end of the week, that even though you have the end of the week to focus on programming for your clients, on engaging with your clients, on making social media content, on shooting for YouTube, shooting this, if you're mentally fatigued by that day, it takes like a day or two to just rebound mentally. Yeah. So that's the first thing I got to do differently.
What I got to do differently is I got to set my priorities straight more. Right now with school, it's a little annoying. Like, you go to school, you don't really do much during the day, so you just feel tired all day. You come home, you don't want to do anything else either. But I need to find more things to kind of keep me occupied. The program is good, but it's also an hour, 2 hours of my day at most. Volleyball is only like a week. No, it's a day a week right now. It'll be 2 practices a week later on, but I need to find things to work on, you know.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're working on is I'm teaching Danny a lot of the programming basics and kind of getting him involved into
but even
the coaching business, because eventually we're going to be working
all the time
together in that business and really expanding it. So especially the fact that you're turning 18 in March, and you know you're going to be in a better position to then get your own clients and get into the business. So you're going to be working for me, working together. But you know, until then, you're kind of working for me and helping me out. But you know, another thing I wanted to bring up to you is, like, if you have some more free time, your content game has to go up. Yeah, it has to. If you want to transcend and grow, like, you can't be doing the same thing you're doing now. It's kind of like when you started and you were posting those TikTok videos, and it was just like that basic TikTok videos, right? But like now you're doing so much more, and that's why you grew. Now you got to do so much more again to grow again.
It's a cycle that never breaks.
It is a cycle that never breaks. But that, you know, and I've talked to some people, just even like last year, there was a guy that I knew when I was younger. He was a little older than me, but he worked for a construction company, a concrete company, and he was telling me how much he was working, and he was doing 12 to 13-hour days, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. And he was trying to fit fitness into his life, and I was like, dude, you have to work a little less. And he's telling me how he's only doing it for a little bit of time. Eventually he's going to cut it off and, you know, focus more on having a more balanced life. But if you're not taking your health into account and you're working that much,
it'll just consume you.
It just kills you. Yeah. It literally kills you. Like, and, you know, money's important, but at what point are you just working a little too much? And, like, even our dad, like, he's working 6 days a week and he's working so much. I'm like, dude, you got to give yourself a little bigger break every week.
But that, like, it feels like he doesn't even think of that as an option.
Yeah. But even for me, like, when I'm not doing the construction, like, I'm focused on my personal training business. Like, I have the house washing business, so I'm working on, like, figuring things out for next season. Like, if you're a person that pushes themselves, you're going to continuously work. when I don't work, like I feel unfulfilled. Like I need to have things to do. And luckily for me, I have plenty of things to do. But that being said, have a work and rest life balance.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt a little better when I would actually work. Because I'm like in a different mindset, but at school, it's different, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely know what you're saying because I was in high school and then I did college. But when I was in college, I was pretty much working full time. So I did a little bit of both, you know.
I wish I could work. Like, you could do half-half, but I'm not going to pull up to work at 12 p.m., you know. Well, 12 p.m.
I mean, if we were working closely,
Yeah.
then it would be possible. But we work an hour and an hour 45 away.
Doesn't even make sense to do it, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on about that first point? Because I'm going to move on to point number 2.
Yeah. I want to talk about getting too comfortable in certain aspects in your life. Say you get too comfortable, with your daily life. Like, you have to be careful with you get.
Are you sure you don't want to cover that topic after we talk about the things we want to do differently the next 3 months? Because that's like a whole topic I want to dive into.
Okay, fair enough.
The second thing I feel like that's more fair because I have so much to say about that. Like, it's gonna take a minute. The thing, but keep all your thoughts in mind. The first thing I want to do differently is change my nutrition / meal plan. Things I want to do differently is obviously gain some weight. Right now I'm at about 215 pounds, and I want to train at 225 to 230 pounds because even though I'll be competing at the 220 pound level, my whole entire training cycle of 3.5 months for my last competition, I was way under weight compared to what I was going to compete at because I was competing at the 220 weight class, and I'm training at the 212, 213 pounds. And due to the fact that I was kind of sick, working too much, unable to fit enough meals throughout my day because of work and travel, I could not put on the weight properly until probably about 3 weeks before my competition. But that takes away from training. Like, without proper nutrition, your training is only mediocre. So I'm going to really focus on putting on weight. I really want to go to 225, 230 and cruise on that higher weight and train at the higher weight. And then let's say I am, a couple pounds over 220. It's going to be a very easy cut to cut a couple pounds before my competition. So I'm not worried about that. And I know that you have some weight goals too.
Yeah, I want to hit 205 by the end of the year. I don't want to go too much past that. I would like to go a little over, but with volleyball, it's a little tough because it tightens you up, your joints, and you just become heavier, become slower. But I think I'll handle it pretty okay because I gained I was on a plateau at 180, 185, in between that, and I just broke through that a few weeks ago. Right as I started this program was kind of when it kickstarted, and ever since I kind of broke through that, I still feel great. I still feel flexible. With volleyball, I didn't really go through much, and I gained another 10 pounds. So I think another 10 pounds I'll be able to handle pretty well.
Yeah. And I think if you continue to get stronger with the heavy weight, it doesn't take away from your
you just
athletic
become
ability.
A little bigger. That's it.
You're just stronger, a little bit bigger, and it kind of resonates back and forth.
So it should be exciting.
Yeah.
By the time I graduate, I want to be very big.
But I mean, it's gonna be tough with that much volleyball during season.
Volleyball is until I graduate because right now it's club and then regular season, and it's nonstop. But I think I can gain a little more. So we'll see what happens. I could always just not gain
Absolutely.
anymore.
Cool. All right, number 3. Something else I want to change is I want to detox from social media. Now, hear me out. I'm not gonna get off Instagram because I'm growing my Instagram. I'm not going to get off YouTube because I'm growing my YouTube. I'm not going to stop making content because that's what I do. But I need to go about doing, I guess, building relationships on social media a little bit differently because especially, and something I'm going to bring up is Snapchat. I'm constantly on Snapchat. I'm constantly just Snapchatting people, in conversation with people, looking at everybody's stories, seeing what everybody's doing. And that's kind of how Instagram works as well. You're just on there and you're constantly just keeping up with people. But a question that I have to you is you've watched a lot of stories today, right? Name some of the stories you've seen today.
I actually never watch stories.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But that's a question to you guys. You're on Instagram, right? And you watch a ton of stories throughout the day. Now, at the end of the day, think about wait, how many of those stories do I even remember?
Yeah.
You don't. Because
You're like thinking of something else while you're going through it. Like
you're just consuming.
every now and then I will look at them, of course, but
consuming.
like I just think they're very pointless because there's nothing to gain.
Your brain literally just shoots a blank at the end of the day. All you're doing is just feeding it like these
random videos.
Yeah, and I think that if you like go about social media in a healthy way, it's great. I think it connects people. You keep up with people that motivate you, that keep you accountable. You build friendships and relationships, and some of the, my friendships were built through networking and social media. So I'm not taking any credibility away from how good social media can be. But when you make it toxic, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah, once you start looking at everybody's story, talking to everybody, there's almost nothing to gain unless except for that 10% of people. Everybody else is just there, But.
Right. And this is kind of another interesting point that I thought about in the past couple of months. But with like Snapchat and like social media nowadays, with Instagram, with DMs, with everything, it feels like you're building relationships with so many people, but they're not true relationships. They're just like social media relationships.
They're
but
fake. They're not fake because they are a person, but it's like it's not genuine. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no emotion in it. It's just words.
But part of you is still connected to X amount of people. You know what I mean? And it's like so not real.
This is why it doesn't change anything, no matter how many followers you have, because they're not in front of you. You can't really tell.
Right.
How many people that is. Like even 10,000 people, that's a lot of people.
That's a ton of people, yeah.
But it feels like it's nothing. You get very used to it,
I don't know. I think that something that I have to do is just completely cut ties with everybody on social media, that like I'm just like Snapchatting, having conversation daily, and just like I do it all the time. Like I will go about not going on Snapchat for a week, and I'll just cut ties with everybody for a week. But it's such an addictive feeling to just be connected with people that a couple of days later you're just like fiending to like have
see
those connections again.
Or opening that snap, just a little surprise of whatever it's gonna be. Like when you're
it's I don't know. It's crazy how psychologically we're so wired and so addicted to these
and I'm gonna be
not
honest,
realistic relationships.
I've wanted to I've tried to detox from say Snapchat. But I always caught myself, like, as soon as I sat in a car and I'm not talking to anybody, I'd just take my phone out and look for Snapchat, like, without even thinking about it. It was just a habit of my brain just going to Snapchat. I'd open up my little folder of all the apps, and I was looking for Snapchat, but it wasn't there, so my brain kind of hit a blank. I was like, bro, So same thing with TikTok. Like, I deleted TikTok a few times just to not use it so much because you just lose track of time while you're on it. And I just caught myself trying to look for it, like at random points of my day.
Yeah.
And there was no point. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't planning on looking at it. It just randomly,
And you know what's crazy? Like in those moments in life where you could have a couple minutes of just you and yourself, just to meditate and just breathe, all you're doing is like boop, quickly pulling up Snapchat or TikTok and just boom, 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 scrolling, entertaining.
And there's no break in that.
Dopamine. So like that, and that's your entire day. And then at the end of the day, think about how many TikToks you remember that you watched that day. I'm shooting a blank. I'm legitimately shooting a blank, dude.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I have to like think about it.
It's short form content is just crazy. At least the difference between like a podcast is like you listen to a podcast, you're like, wow, I picked this up. That's a different perspective that I understood. And
it's slower. It's more in depth. TikTok is just like, sure, there's videos that are like a minute or 3 minute long videos, but you probably are not going to watch that. You're probably going to skip over that. And even if you do watch it, you're not going to remember much because it's probably part of like an actual video. And there's little parts. You always watch little quick videos, but listening to something, reading a book, or listening to an audio book, you get more depth to it. Your subconscious gets like fed so much more.
Absolutely. It's a tough one because like even us, like, yes, we make short form content because that's how you attract viewers.
Yeah, it's like hypocritical to say, but it's like.
But my goal is to then
do video, like YouTube videos,
and get those viewers to potentially like stick around and hear me out on like my real views and things like that. Yeah. But just to like summarize, like I think I'm gonna do. Now with the holiday season too, like I have friends that I have to keep in touch with. Like I do like doing that. But
that's a big problem too. Like Snapchat is like the easiest way to communicate with people, whether you need something or something happened and someone's gonna reach you really quick. Snapchat.
Boom,
or if they need to get something, like say some schoolwork, some homework, some questions about something, boom, right there. So
And
that's the
it's-
tough thing.
And it's so weird because you will build a streak with somebody and then you feel bad for breaking it.
yeah, for what? It's
For what?
the day keeps going.
That is such a
You
smart.
keep on breathing.
That is such a smart like coding gimmick that they came up with, like to
Yeah.
have a streak, bro. It's
Like
crazy.
no one's done that before.
It's crazy. But
And the
I
bigger
think,
it is, the stronger you
Oh,
you feel
man.
attached to that.
yeah, like I remember, like I'd have friends from high school, like girls, like legitimately just girls that are friends with me, right?
Yeah.
And I'll have like a 500-day streak with them. Like why?
yeah, I
why?
could probably pull up one or two.
Like why do I
There's
need
no
to have a
point.
600-day
There's
streak with a
no
girl that
point.
has a boyfriend?
Fair enough.
Like why
Yeah.
do I need to have that? I
You
also don't
don't.
understand another thing. Like, and okay, maybe maybe I'm coming at you, whoever's watching this, but why are you Snapchatting me if you have a boyfriend?
Like you got nothing to lose, but you
I have
do.
nothing to lose.
Yeah, she does.
I don't really. I'm just a little confused, and like maybe you're coming with good intentions, and you know I'm trying to be a good guy here or whatever. But that being said, if I had a girlfriend and she was Snapchatting a guy like me, I wouldn't like that. I'm sure your boy doesn't like that either. He probably doesn't even know that you Snapchat me. And I think you're maybe that person.
Yeah,
is
but then as soon as you the guy questions the girl, it's a blame game or oh you're insecure or blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
bro,
and then
girls
all
be
these
saying it's
things,
insecurity
yeah.
issues. Like,
It's like,
get out of here.
No, I'm just kind of protecting what's
Yeah.
mine, you know.
like if I had a like it just I don't know. I'm confused.
There's a good point Tate made. He said he was at a club. Like if he was at a club and he drove his Lambo there, and he parked it on the side of the street right in front of it, he knows that there would be guys that try to break into it, but he knows that Lamborghini is not gonna all like start automatically or like they're gonna be able to like take anything from him because it's a Lamborghini. You know, it's very protected, but he's not gonna stand by and watch that happen. He's gonna go up and stop them, even though he knows
Yeah.
the Lamborghini is not gonna go off with them. You know.
Yeah.
So that was a very good point that I really liked.
As in, like, you gotta be protected.
You got to be protected because, like,
things
sure,
that you care
you may
about.
know your girl is not gonna fold or sleep with that dude or like even like flirt. That she'll just reject them. But it's not, you're not just gonna stand by if you see it happening. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna intervene. You know, you're gonna
I
say
don't know.
something.
I'm not in a relationship, but like when I will be, I feel like I'm a little protective as a
Oh, yeah.
person.
Big time.
But it's like, I mean, if you liked somebody and they liked you back and you truly liked each other, you probably wouldn't even make time for other people. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If
But
you're
that's the big problem with like high school though. You have so much time. You get into a relationship because you want to you're bored. You have nothing to do. No offense to anybody. You literally have nothing else to do. And if everybody else is getting boyfriends and they look so happy, you're like, okay, let me try this. And then you just have a half-assed relationship. Sorry,
I
but
don't
because just someone shows you some like attention that you wanted, and then
know. Yeah.
start dating him and it feels all nice, and then you guys break up over the dumbest reasons because you know it was never genuine. It was never real.
For
And
real.
that ruins the true love aspect.
True love in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, because like that's not true love. That's I don't know.
No,
It's like kinda like
kind of joking about that.
yeah.
True love in high school. Haha.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it feels
don't know.
like young love is nice and stuff, but it's not real.
I don't know. I will say one thing. Like, I think about these things all the time because I feel like when I am talking to a lot of girls, for example, and like, you know, I'm just building relationships, I feel like part of me is like a small percentage of me is just attached to all those girls for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Let's say I'm talking to 5 different girls. Part of me is attached to each one of those girls for whatever reason that may be, right? And let's say we're just talking because everybody just talks to each other.
Yeah.
And then like one of them decides to, and the thing is like they're doing the same thing. They're talking to other guys.
Yeah.
But maybe like in their priority list, I'm number 1. But for
so
me, they're
before you
my
look
number
at him or us,
Everybody's doing
everybody does this.
That's
l-
just how,
look in the mirror. You probably do it yourself.
and you probably do it too. So
Yeah.
don't judge. But I'm saying, and then they go off and they get like a boyfriend, but you never even cared for them that much. You never even saw them with you. And then,
You never saw a future in it.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
like they'll go off and get in a relationship, and you're like, ugh, like,
Yeah, you kind of like
you
Yeah.
feel it, but it's like,
Yeah.
why? Why do you even feel? Why does it even matter?
it
That
doesn't
wasn't
matter,
supposed to be
yeah.
a thing with you, anyways.
yeah.
You're just investing
But
part
I feel
of
like that's
you.
also a bit of the protective aspect in it too.
I don't know. People want to have options. Having options is good. Like, I'm not good. It feels good.
Yeah.
But is it? I don't even know.
If you still have options while you're in a relationship, that's tough. Like once you get into a relationship, you cut off all those options. That's what I feel like you have to do if you do have options.
The thing is, like, the dating game is so tough because it's like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. And unfortunately, that's just how the game is now. But it's like, how do you go about it, like, in a traditional way? But, like, that doesn't really exist anymore. Like, what are you going to be, like, walking around and see a beautiful girl in your local town and you
go
know
up to her and, like, give her flowers? Like,
and then, no, you can't do that.
Exactly.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So it's,
I mean,
if you're
some it might, but
if you're a pretty girl, like, you're going to have so many guys in your DMs. Every guy in your town's going to already think you're attractive. Like, if you can't, interact with that girl in person, you're going to talk to her online or try to get to her online.
And there's a funny, like, I don't know what it's called, like, ironic. No, it's not ironic. It's like the very, very hot, super popular girl online is, like, to die for. But as soon as you talk to her in real life, boring. Boring. No, it's just a very funny,
maybe true.
No,
I could agree
I'm not
there.
like talking about anybody specific, but I'm saying it's a very, like, funny way to look at it, because you can put yourself as a very, like, all this and that kind of person, and then in real life where it actually matters, it's not all that.
I don't know. But that being said, I know we kind of went off on a tangent there. But, like, I just want to, like, detox from having just friendships and relationships and like being connected with people, because I think that solitude is so important for self-growth. Like, you need to be with yourself to know who you are. You get blinded from knowing who you are when you're constantly in touch with everybody else and being a certain way for somebody else. And when you're connected with so many people, you're going to lose yourself almost.
And this is a big problem about, like, people pleasers.
Yes.
Because you
and
think it's the right thing.
I'm a people pleaser sometimes.
I feel like a people pleaser too. But there's at times you have to realize that, like, it feels good in the moment, but it has such a little effect on both of you. Like, for you, you're not focusing on yourself, like, ever. Mm-hmm. Other person, they get it from other people too, bro. Like, everybody gets it from other people. Not all the time, but it doesn't really matter that you give them, like, that little bit of attention, even though, like, to you it matters so much. To them, it matters a little bit. That's like, when someone gives you $100, it doesn't feel that much, but when you give away $100, it feels like it's a lot of money when you just gave away.
That's a good point. That being said, I am going to depart from, like, I take week breaks from, like, Snapchat and other social medias, as in, like, interacting with other people, just to find myself and be in solitude. The next upcoming 4 months, I'm going to do 2-week periods, and I'm going to do 3-week periods. Like I said, it's tough with the holiday season. It's tough because my birthday's in January, so I need to be connected at those times of my life because people are going to be wishing me happy birthday and whatnot, and I have to make plans for the holidays and New Year's and this and that. So I will be connected, but, like, I will do my best to take weeks off, to take time off, to be very, very, very limited when it comes to being available for quick interaction. Like, I need to just depart and focus on, like, what my goals are. I have big goals ahead of me. I got a big plate, and
I think people are very, very quick to get an addiction. Like I feel like people are just very prone to addiction. Like, whether
all humans are addicted. Like, they have addictive personalities. Like, I mean,
well, that's
one way
saying.
or another.
Like, I'm saying, like, if everybody does something, you start doing it too, you're gonna do it.
And it's crazy how alone you feel when that's how you are all the time, and you switch off and get off social media. It feels like you're actually alone. And you know what's crazy? You may have so many friends, and everybody may think this of you, and you have a certain you have a certain image of yourself based on how people interact with you on social media.
But nobody knows you.
No, get off social media and see how many people reach out to you. I can almost assure you it's going to be like 1 or 2.
And it's going to be because they need something from you.
And it won't be like, hey, I noticed that we don't have a streak and you haven't, like, reached out to me in 4 weeks. Like, and or like whatever. Yeah. You know what it is? Like, they're not going to, like, think of you, like, life just moves on. And that being said, like, you know what? I'm probably that way too.
Because you cannot keep up with everybody.
You can't keep up with everybody.
I think that's a big problem. Like, everybody's, like, it's like a big jumble of everything. Like everybody needs to kind of step back and like work a little bit more on themselves. Don't just completely cut off everybody off and just become antisocial. Just give yourself a little bit of time during the day just to work on yourself and just reflect and kind of like just know what's going on.
Right.
So many times, like, we're always on go mode. We need to do this and then that. We got to keep on doing it, And then before we know it, it's day's over.
I think the problem isn't that when you take a break off social media that everybody should reach out to you all of a sudden and be like, oh my goodness, I haven't noticed you on Snapchat, or I haven't seen your story in forever. Like, are you okay? No, I'm not saying people should do that. I'm saying that you should be okay with not being present on social media, not having people reach out to you, and be okay with solitude. Be okay with being by yourself.
And I feel like it's such a topic that is not, it's like so hidden. Because, for example, like I know a lot of guys, especially in even high school, can relate to staying up at like 1 a.m. alone, or like way past the night, and then all of a sudden you just get these crazy thoughts, things that you should probably handle. What do you mean? For example, things like mistakes you've done, or the way you treated somebody, or you handled a certain situation. You start to remember these things out of nowhere. It's because you don't have the time. Like, you don't give yourself time during the day to reflect and like kind of work on these things, that like these memories, these thoughts, these actions that you did. So at night when you're not doing anything anymore and you're laying in bed, it just hits you all like a ton of bricks. You're on your phone, or like you're done with TikTok, or like whatever you're doing. You're watching a video, but you're getting a little like tired, so like you're not really focusing on the video, and then you're just thinking about your own thoughts. That's when it hits you. And then all of a sudden you don't sleep because all these thoughts are coming right at you, and and there's nothing you can do about it, because like you're like, oh, why all of a sudden
you don't know how to handle yourself by yourself.
Yeah, that's why you need to like have solitude and kind of get stronger mentally. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So that was that point. I am going to be a lot less available to people. And just a final thing I want to add onto that, it's like when you are available all the time, people take you for granted, and your
time doesn't become as valuable anymore.
Yes, and people lose the mystery for you. Like, if you want to be interesting to people, like, you can't just
be there all the time,
and you can't just like show every single part of your life and just continue to boom Snapchat everybody every 10 minutes, and everybody knows what you're doing.
Point. I
like,
love that point.
If you're away and you're doing your thing and people they don't even know what's going on, but they know that you're working on something. Yeah. It's just like
what's he working on in there?
what's he building in there?
Like, it's such a good point, because then people start to respect your time that they have with you. And then same thing when you're in a social situation, you're talking to a bunch of people. If you give everybody the same amount of time, like when you're speaking to them, and like your time doesn't become as valuable. If you're always talking, your words don't mean as much.
They don't have weight.
Yeah, they don't have weight. But if you take time, if you listen, if you talk to a certain someone for a little bit, and then people want to talk to you more, because like, oh, why is he giving them time? Why is he not giving me time? As soon as they have you, you're a little more than just a social
another
plug,
person.
Yeah.
Good. I think that was pretty well discussed. I'm definitely going to be a lot less available to people.
Yeah, that's something that I got to work on too.
The next thing I was going to bring up is I think that life has seasons, and I kind of brought this up right when we started the episode, and I want to get into depth with with how we should have different seasons in our life. And in the Bible, it talks about how there's a time to weep, there's a time to be happy, there's a time for everything. And that kind of like is what I'm trying to get at. Like, there is a time for people to have their focus on self-development. You can't try to fit true self-development in your daily life and expect to grow at your maximum potential by not focusing solely on that. And I know that sounds crazy, because you're like, well, life has this and this and that, and I understand. But at some point in your life, devote 2 months or 3 months to implicate more things into your routine. Let's say that you want to, add a, reading 2 chapters a day. And let's say that means you got to add a training session a day. And let's say that means you have to take a cold shower once a week, or just like something smaller like that. But and it means that your schedule changes for a certain period of time, and that is your focus to do that over and over again and do it precisely and be different. So with me, like in this next upcoming cycle of training, for the next 4 months, that is going to be a season for me in my life where I'm going to take it very, very seriously, and I'm going to put all my efforts to do things differently. Mm-hmm. Some of the things I've already mentioned. But I remember when I first got into self-development, I got obsessed with like reading and just taking in as much knowledge as possible, taking in as much information as I possibly could that can help me. And I was reading or listening to an audiobook at least one per week, and I did that for a whole entire week and a year. So last year I was able to do 58 books total. And this year, I mean, I probably did a total of like 15 books because that was just not my priority, which is fine. We could have priorities, and that wasn't a priority this year. And I continue to grow in that space in my life. But I want to
say priorities. A little point about, say you're trying to develop on something. If you always plan on it, and you're always like, okay, I'm going to start it like this, and then I'm going to do this, and then all this and that. Like, if you're always thinking to yourself of how it could be, how it's going to be, like the action part isn't going to be as exciting as you think. Like the longer you wait, the less. Same thing with like your like words have weight. Like your actions won't be what you expect. Like if you want to work really hard on something and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow, or like you keep pushing it back, it no longer becomes so like as important to you. Mm-hmm. So if you're always like, okay, I'm gonna work on myself tomorrow, I'm gonna read a book. If you keep pushing that back, as soon as you start reading a book, it's not as important to you. Like, why am I reading this book? Oh, I'm not even focused. Blah blah blah. Like it ties into a lot of things. So if you need to do something, you do it now. If you want to do something, you have to do it now, because right now, as you're thinking about it, you're like, this is the time to do it because it's the most important to you right now. This is when you're thinking about it. But like in a month, who knows what you're gonna be thinking about it? If it's not gonna be as important to you.
I think, yes, that's a very important point. And like I was saying, like devote seasons into your life for personal growth and solely focus on that and have that your main focus, because you know what's interesting? 3 months ahead from now, we're going to come. 4 months ahead from now, we're going to come. If I don't do these things differently, I'll look back and said, wow, I could have spent these 4 months doing this, but I didn't. And like I don't know. I just think that, I was going to say another thing. Like, you may hate doing something, and that's fine. You're not supposed to love doing
everything you do.
Yeah, things that are good for you aren't necessarily always going to be things you love to do. Mm-hmm. But you got to do them. Mm-hmm. When I first got into like reading books and listening to audiobooks, I really disliked it because it was very hard for me to do. Like, it was something that I did when I was younger. I remember in 5th grade, I was like, when I was 4th grade, 5th grade, I was really obsessed with reading. I really enjoyed reading because I felt like I could just like get away from this world and just kind of just engage in like this
fantasy mindset.
Yeah, just go somewhere else. But I lost that love. So getting back to reading was really tough. But eventually I loved it, and it got almost bad for me because I would just read and do that instead of actually taking action. So that was just a moment of self-reflection in my life, and that's important as well. But like I said, like this upcoming couple of months, I will like get back into reading a little bit more, and all these things that I'm saying, like I'm gonna write down and I'm going to follow. Like I'm writing a game plan. I'm speaking out my game plan. I'm gonna write a game plan. I'm gonna follow that game plan.
Set of rules you gotta follow.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about if everything you do in life is easy, like there's no value behind it. If you say you work a really hard job, you appreciate your free time. If you work with really hard people and it's really hard to communicate with them, you start to appreciate people that is very easy to communicate with. So people see all these things as, oh, it's so hard to do this, oh, I don't want to do this. But you don't know how it will feel once you get past that hard point. Like the easy things in life will become so easy to appreciate, because such a big difference in it. If everything's easy, nothing really has value. If you're growing up in a bunch of money, you don't work for money anymore. You just work to just do everything else in life that there is. And that gets boring too. There's no hustle in it, you know?
Absolutely. I'm really excited for the next couple of months. I think that I will transcend to a new version of me. And the times in my life where I've devoted time to solely focus on getting better in whatever aspect that was, a new version of me came about. And when I go past these levels and I start falling back into old patterns, and you know what? What's crazy is like my new baseline of who I am is way, way better. I'm way smarter. I am filled with more knowledge. I'm filled with more wisdom. I build new disciplines. I am a better person, but there's still things that come back to being just like, old patterns, and just I become a almost a, like
Slave
I
to your own mind.
I become a more advanced drifter. There's a book called Outwitting the Devil, and the author talks about how like not to be a drifter in life. And a drifter is somebody that just kind of like just lives life and allows their life to just be basic, And he talks about how there's different components to being a drifter. And I kind of just assimilate that to my life. Like when I don't push myself to transcend again to a new level of a human, or where I'm more loving, more caring, more full of wisdom, stronger, and all these things. Like if I just stay at a certain level for a long period of time, it just feels like I'm drifting through life. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be a drifter. And it never stops. Like you always kind of have to keep going, but I can't be a drifter. I don't know. I can't.
I feel like everybody either is a drifter right now, or they know what it feels like to be a drifter.
Yeah.
And you may not realize you may not realize it, but it's such a common thing.
Never get too comfortable and stay humble. Like even in the past couple months of my life, I'll give an example of something that just happened to me a couple weeks ago. I competed in my powerlifting meet. Building up to my powerlifting meet, I had really hard training. Work was really tough. I started a personal training business. I had a lot on my plate, but I was pushing through, and I knew that I'm going to go to competition day. I'm going to compete. I'm going to have good numbers, and it's going to be all worth it. The case was that. I had my meet. Yep. It was an insane experience. I was on top of the world. I blew my numbers. I came in second. Could have easily came in first. Like, it was an insane experience. I felt like $1 million. I felt so good, right? And 2 days later, when I'm driving back from work, and like I said, I was definitely on my high horse. I felt good. And what I notice in my life is whenever I am on my high horse, God does humble me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say you got to stay humble, like, because whenever you're not, when you're not ready, that's when you get humbled. That's when the devil does his work, and that's when God humbles you. But like, I remember I'm driving back from work, and I tell people, you got to stay vigilant, because like I'm just like driving. Okay, and back a little bit more about the stories. Like I scratched the left side of my truck, and I had to get one of my friends to fix it. He works for a paint shop, so he fixes that side of the truck, and I had to pay money for that. I'm like, oh, that sucked, but whatever, I paid for it. And I'm driving back. This was like 2 weeks before. So then now I'm driving back from work, and my friends, my coworkers are sleeping, and I'm just driving, and like I'm just thinking of all these random things, whatever. And I feel, oh, life is so tough, whatever. And then I lose one split second of focus, and like I touch one of the guardrails with the right side of my truck.
This,
and I'm
if
like,
you didn't fall asleep, this isn't.
I just like lost focus for 2 seconds because I'm like just thinking of random stuff, And then I scratched the right side of my truck on the back bumper.
Right after he got the other side.
Oh, right after I paid, and I'm like, and then I just like got humbled. I lost all that feeling of being on my high horse. I hated myself for that second. I was like, man, I'm so dumb, Mm-hmm. Like, how did I lose focus for 2 seconds? I wasn't vigilant, like, and that happens every single time in life. Every single time in life when I'm not thankful, when I'm not humble, when I lose focus, when I'm not vigilant, that's when things happen.
Yep.
And I get taught over and over and over again. And I know that I'm going to train again, and I'm going to compete, and I'm going to break some crazy numbers, and I'm going to win.
And that's just that. That's it.
But I cannot allow that to get to me. I cannot allow it to get to my head. I have to use it for the better, not for the worse.
100%.
You got nothing to say there?
And I got that's all you, bro.
Nah, but it's crazy. It's crazy. So many situations in my life where like I just get humbled because I'm not I'm not careful with myself.
No, but no, I do want to touch on the like humbling part. I feel like the worst critic is like your own head. And I always try humbling myself, but then at a certain point you start coming at yourself for the randomest things, and it's not just like it's not a healthy. It doesn't become a healthy habit. It becomes like dangerous. You find yourself thinking of yourself, this is the worst you've ever looked, or like your insecurities start to come out, or just a bunch of little things you've done in life just start coming at you, and you think to yourself, sure, you have this, but you couldn't have done this. You couldn't do that. You're not gonna do this. You can't do that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's one of my biggest problems. I always, I don't know what the word is. Attack myself. It's not attack. It's
maybe
attack, but that's like the biggest problem I have mentally. I always like every time I accomplish something, I always have to back it up with something that I couldn't do. And sure, that could be a good thing, but over time, you run out of things that you couldn't have done that you remember, so you just start coming at yourself for random things. And that's a big problem that I feel like I gotta work on.
Definitely. Absolutely. Look, it's going to be a couple of months of me going hard. I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, I'm gonna go so hard, and I meant it, and like I do mean it. Yeah. I am going to go so hard, because if you want to be a winner, you cannot expect to be a winner by not going hard.
Yeah, you can't.
You have to go hard. Like, you need to just want it that bad.
And man, I want to. Right, one of my biggest motivations right now is like being this big unit on the volleyball court. That is like one of my biggest motivations, because I remember back in sophomore year, I had a little bit of muscle, and I remember the other side of the team under the net would be like, "Yo, what year you graduating?" And I'm like, "I'm a sophomore," and they're like, "No way." And now I'm a senior, so like it's not it can't be like that anymore. So now I have to do better. I have to do more. I have to be bigger. I have to be stronger. I have to hit harder. I have to be a bigger force on the court, you know? And that's what I'm really excited for. And with this program, hopefully it'll make me stronger, make me a little bigger. I'll get better at volleyball. And I don't know, I'm very excited.
Definitely. I think we're going to close off that topic there. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's more things to talk about. Of course, we could have got more in depth. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is just like, because this is getting uploaded the day before Thanksgiving, and people are going to watch on Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving weekend, I just wanted to bring up some of the things that we're thankful, and you can start with this one. Oh, just kind of talk about some of the things that you're thankful.
Honestly, every time I think about people that affected my life positively and truly wanted the best for me, even when it really didn't seem like that, is, you guessed it, family. And everybody is so quick to forget how important that aspect of life is, because without family, what are you really working for? You're working for creating your own future family. Family is always the main go-getter, because without family, there's so many little things that don't matter as much. With family, they're always there to criticize you out of love. Who criticizes you out of love that you know outside of your family? Sure, your friends, but your friends always envy you. They always have things to say that they always had in the back of their mind. Family isn't like that. Family doesn't care for your doesn't care about your feelings, like, in a way, when they criticize you. When you're doing something wrong, they'll tell you. And you just have to understand that, sure, sometimes family can get out of hand and whatever, but for the most part, you have to just take what they say like in consideration, because if they're going to say something about what you have been doing, they live with you all the time. They see you all the time. That has weight behind it, you know, when they say something like that. So I'm very thankful for my family for always telling me when I'm doing something wrong or when I have to fix something. And I am thankful for some friends, but friends is a sticky situation. There's a few friends that I have really close, and I've gotten closer with some that have really been helping me out. And outside of family and a few friends, there's not really many people. Well, there's 100,000 people that I want to thank that follow me on Instagram. Really love you all, but it's hard to thank each and every one of you, you know. So I'm thankful for everybody that watches this and that that will continue to support us in the future and right now, because that is such good motivation for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but outside of that little jumble, that's all I want to say.
Can you check if Lucas texted you on WhatsApp?
He did with the gift.
With gift cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to a giveaway, actually, but I'm gonna talk about quickly about. I don't know. Do you want to thank somebody else?
No, I'm all set. Yeah.
There is so many people.
Are you gonna specifically thank friends?
I'm gonna. I'm not. Look.
I don't.
I'm not gonna say friends because if I were to thank everybody that I wanted to thank, I'd be here for the next 30 minutes thanking people. I'm gonna thank a couple people specifically. I'm gonna thank the people that. I gotta thank the people that believe in me, like the people that actually have shown that they believe in me, the people that have like texted me something individually or sent me a DM, especially after watching one of these podcasts or watching one of my YouTube videos and have said a kind word. That literally means so much to me. That puts a smile on my face. That makes my day. Like that is.
I didn't get in depth with that, but that's what I meant with people that support us.
Because there's plenty of people that have done that. Yeah. Thank you so much, the people. And I think the people that have helped me and have offered help, and I thank the people that continuously help me in growing. You know, like there is so many people. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my brother. I am thankful for so much. And beyond everything else, I'm thankful to God for giving me the opportunity in my life to allow me to pursue my passions, pursue my dreams, pursue my ambitions. Because at the end of the day, like I want to live a life that's God's will for my life. And I know that like everything I do has to fit in his will, or else it's eventually going to fit in his will, whatever that will is for me. And I pray that that's going to be my will for my life. So I thank God for giving me those opportunities. And I think that God answers my prayers. I find myself a lot of times being in points in my life where I'm not praying enough and I'm not thankful enough. And sometimes I'll catch myself and I'll start praying and I'll ask God for certain things or for direction, or I'll ask for clarity in certain things. And he legitimately provides it right away. It's absurd to me how good how crazy he works. Yeah. But he answered my prayers, and like I know that he works in my life, and I thank him for that. And I think that as an individual, I have to continuously striving for the right cause, for the right thing, and in that process, God will continue to bless me, and he's going to continue to bless you. And I have to stay true to that. And I think that if I don't stay true to that, why would God bless me? Why would he? Why would he help me?
Why would he want the best for us, you know?
You know? Well, he does, but I'm saying, why would
if we don't
yeah, if we have wrong intentions, why would he allow those wrong intentions to work out? Like at the end of the day, like I have to stay pure in my intentions, and I do my best, but you know, I'm a fallen human, and there's times where I lose focus of that. But I pray that I continue to stay on the right path, on the narrow road. Not the wide.
I also want to thank everybody that like I see every day that like always kind of like make my day. Whether it's just wearing young LA, they're like, yo, guess what code I use? You know, like
that's
that,
fun.
like that like makes my day. Like I don't even know how to explain. Like I have like a pretty bad morning, whatever. I'm awake after that. Like, I see a guy with like a backpack. I know who you are. If you're listening to this, I know who you are. You wore that backpack that one day, that tan backpack. I saw it and I was like, he talked about it before. He texted me about it. But then I saw it. I'm like, this guy, like he literally just made my day. Like. And it's like a mutual thing. Like he's waiting for my reaction, and then I'm about to react. So you know, it's like a two-way street. So it's like I love that too. And I don't know, I do thank God for everything. Absolutely. I think he works in very mysterious ways, because you will find yourself in such weird spots in life.
Yeah.
But there's no other way of explaining how to get out of it. Like the things you learn without believing that God provides you some answers, because there's too many like clear moments in my life where there was no other explanation but God.
Yeah. And you know what? And I thank him for the hardships in my life, because I asked God to make me a strong person. And to be a strong person, you have to persevere through hardships.
Yeah.
So those hardships have always made me that stronger person. And when I'm in a hardship, I always reflect on that and I meditate on that. Like, and you may be going through a hard time yourself, you know, and you got to realize, like, that's the things that will make you a strong person. If you want to get competent at something, you have to do it plenty of times. If you want to be a strong person, you have to go through the hardships of life to become a stronger person. Never forget that.
You always find examples for this too.
Living an easy life will never make you a strong person.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why training is a perfect example of something that you can do yourself every day to make you a stronger person.
Oh, yeah.
Mentally, physically.
I was about to say that.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, to close this off, we're going to have a giveaway from Vision that we're going to be running on our Instagrams. And the people that watch this, you probably are going to already see it on my Instagram. We're going to post it tomorrow. But for those that may not, for whatever reason, this will be posted on Wednesday. So this is kind of how the giveaway is going to work. We're going to post a photo. And what you have to do is follow Vision and tag 2 friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you're going to be you're going to have a chance at winning a $50 gift card, and there's going to be 3 winners. For my side, and there's going to be 3 winners for Danny.
Mm-hmm. So
there's going to be a total of 6 winners.
Yeah. 6
So
winners for this.
Definitely try it. It's very simple.
And hey, it's to tag 2 people and follow 1 account. And you
I
can
mean,
win.
come on.
You can win like a good amount of money to spend on some good pre-workout.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie.
And then I'm also running a personal giveaway from me, not from Vision. But I'm going to give away 2 $50 gift cards for the holiday season, for Black Friday. And you know what? I'm going to make it 3. I'm going to give away 3 $50 gift cards to 3 winners. And all you have to do is either buy something from Vision, send me a screenshot, and that's an entry. Follow the Yoki Way and my personal channel on YouTube, and that is another entry. So you have to follow both accounts. If you send me screenshots of you following both accounts, that's an entry. There's already plenty of you guys that already do that. So just send me proof.
You could do both of those too if you really wanted to.
If you do both,
That's 2
that
entries.
makes you gives you 2 entries. And this is obviously my giveaway, but I'm also going to include, if you use code Yoki for Young LA.
I'm gonna do my own giveaway for that too.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that if you buy something from Young LA and you use his code, that's also an entry. But you have to DM me proof, because that's the only way you can enter. That's the only way. That's the only way I know that you're doing that. Like, obviously, there's people that have done
Send
all
it to
that
both
already.
of us even. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put you guys in the giveaway, and I'm gonna give away 3 gift cards, 3 winners. That has nothing to do with the Vision giveaway, which I'm doing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So
keep in mind, Young LA giveaway from me, 3 gift cards from him, and then the Vision giveaway from both of us. So there's a lot to give out here.
well, you're doing 3 winners from you. I'm doing 3 winners from me. For Vision.
For Vision, yeah. So that's together, and then you're doing your own
Yeah.
giveaway, and then I'm doing my Young LA. So it's gonna be Christmas season, you know.
Oh, you're doing for Christmas?
No, I'm just saying it feels like Christmas, you know.
Yeah. Money
But
for everybody.
Yeah, everybody wins, you know. I wish.
But guys, did you want to explain your Young LA giveaway, or are you gonna do that different time?
I'm adjusting some things right now, so I don't want to.
Okay, fair enough. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that insight and some of the things we talked about. Please participate in this giveaway. Like, subscribe, follow my personal channel, follow his personal channel.
Not only can you win stuff, you're also supporting us big time.
Yeah, and
so.
like, look, the support is everything, guys.
Yeah.
A like, a comment, and keep staying subscribed, and even putting the ring notification to get notified when we upload. That means everything to us. Like, that gives us the ability to grow on YouTube, to get put in other people's recommendations on YouTube and slowly grow. You know. So thank you very much for all that.
Oh yeah.
Any closing thoughts before I?
Nope.
Guys, we'll see you guys next week on Wednesday. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. Make sure you tell everybody that you're thankful. If you're thankful for them, show some love. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Yoki Way out.
Peace.